Hello and welcome to the Corrugated Cardboard Hop, sponsored by Misty over at Creating the Crafty Life. Our challenge was to create some items to share using corrugated cardboard, which I love to do because I love all the texture that it provides. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the projects I created and how I achieved the looks. The first project is a note card box, and it started out just a plain craft box. I cut a piece of corrugated cardboard to fit on top, tore off some of the paper. I love to use the priority boxes I've recycled because they have nice fine ribs and I really love that look. On this project I've used a Tim Holtz weathered clock die and cut it in half. I gessoed it and then I applied some Inka Gold to give it that pretty gold finish. The corrugated cardboard was sprayed with a couple of Lindy sprays, dark chocolate truffle, and some Opal Oats. The entire box was painted with the dark chocolate truffle. I glued on the clock with Prima 3D matte gel. I love that stuff. It works fabulous. I used vintage photo stain on the hands of the clock, and then to grunge them up, I ran them through some jet black archival ink. The next process was gluing those down, figuring out the Prima flowers. Those are just hot glued on. Prima leaves. And I think I stuck a little posies in there that I picked up at Michael's. And it's done. I did hit the top of it a little bit in spots with some white gesso on the corrugated just to hit some of the high spots and highlighted it a little bit. But that's basically how I altered just a plain Kraft Note Box card, and I think it turned out really nice. Make a great gift. So I loved how that one turned out. Next, I'd like to share with you this shabby chic snowman ornament that I created with some corrugated cardboard and some chipboard. I used the Tim Holtz assembly snowman to make this. I cut out 2 layers of the body using the corrugated cardboard as the top layer and then the chipboard as the back layer for stability. The arms are the only thing that has 3 layers glued together, and they have got chipboard on each outside edge and the corrugated cardboard in the center. It kind of makes them a little bit chunky and really strong. It was a really fun project because I used the embossing enamel, the Fontage embossing enamel powder by Stampendous, and it's got lots of texture and glitter, and it's gorgeous. I stamped the body with VersaFine ink pad, and then I poured on the shabby white all over the body and embossed it, and it has flecks and it's gorgeous. The lighting is not real good in here, so you just can't get the full effect, but it's really beautiful. And I used the shabby pink for the scarf and the hat band, and I used the aged gold for the arms and the aged silver for the hat. And when I did the hat, I started getting lots of texture when I was heating it up and bubbles, and I love that effect. I think it looks really, really cool. I also used some button brads that I had. I cut off the back and put a little bit of Inka Gold around the edge And I did the same. I colored the chipboard nose with a Copic marker, and then I took a little bit of the Inka Gold and edged around the outside of that. The flower, the poinsettia flower, is from a memory box die, and I sprayed that with some Lindy's pink, sunset pink, and put a little bit of bling in the center of that. Also, my snowman is a little bit dimensional because the way I put it together, I started by gluing the bottom circle together, the two pieces together, and then the next layer I actually sandwiched in between the bottom layer, and I used some foam to stabilize it in between. And I did the next thing, the same thing with the head. I actually sandwiched that in between the top body part and put a little bit of foam. And I also took modeling paste to fill in those cracks around the edge so that it's just white on the edge. You can see there. And when I put the modeling paste in, that's when I put my hanging piece in. I just poked it in, and then I put some more modeling paste around to hold it. Really, really like how this ornament turned out. I think it just has such personality. So I hope you'll give it a try. Okay, I'd like to share another project with you. It's a tattered poinsettia that I cut with Tim Holtz die. I am going to use this on a project. I've yet to figure out what that's going to be yet, but I had a really great surprise when I die cut it out of the corrugated cardboard, and I went to spray the layers with the Lindy spray. I used cotton candy pink and sunset pink and dried in between each one of those colors and just got a wonderful saturation. But what kind of happened was the corrugated part started peeling from the paper part, and so as I started drying that, it just had a really cool feel and look to it. So I just started pulling it apart, and as I did that, I thought, wow, this will make my flower really cool. So what I ended up doing then is the pieces that pulled apart, I just put some gesso on them, and I intermixed the corrugated cardboard with the paper pieces that pulled apart from the corrugated textured part and stacked it up that way. And I really love how it turned out. I just used some Recollection rhinestone sticker bling that I picked up at Michael's, and I just have a really great flower now to stick on a package or anything I want. Like I said, I haven't figured out what that's going to be yet, but it's really gorgeous. I really love how that turned out and how it just made such a cool flower. Anyway, that's one little project, and I have one left to share. So thank you. This is the last item I created for the hop, and I used labels 28 dies to cut out the shape of the corrugated cardboard. I also used a super cute cottage cut die called Bird Trio, and that's cut with some Prima paper, and the label shape was cut and stained. The outside portion was cut and stained with vintage photo, and then the inner side of the piece that it inlays was gesso, just white, and then touches of gesso around the rest of the outside frame. And then the bird center just kind of laid on top there, made a really nice focal. Real interesting, I think, with all the texture. So I hope you got some inspiration from our corrugated cardboard hop, and